Welcome to the Wild Simplicity Podcast, the podcast for awakening women who are ready to shed the layers, let go of the clutter, and rediscover their wild and wonderful selves that lie beneath. I'm Anna Day, and together we'll explore how to simplify, release what's no longer serving us, and embrace the possibility of living fully in this one wild and precious life. Whether you're a dreamer, a seeker, or someone who craves doing things differently, this space is for you. Let's dive in and awaken the magic within. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Wild Simplicity Podcast. And today I have a lovely guest, my friend Julie, who is all the way over in Tenerife, and I'm in Portugal, so we're connecting today. Julie and myself have been friends for a long time, nearly 10 years. Our kids were in water babies, swimming together when they were, well, babies, because they're nearly both 11 in March and April. They're a week apart, and they're born a week apart. And Julie is an artist. Her company is called Bevan Art, and she makes the most beautiful art. Case in point behind her there, for those of you watching the video, a couple of pieces. And Julie is an entrepreneur extraordinaire. She has been an entrepreneur for years and has had a jewelry business. And she's amazing. She's an amazing support to me as a friend and as a fellow business owner and woman doing business in a new and different way. And we have been having so many chats recently, especially. We decided to record this podcast of us just having the chats because we have so many voice notes back and forth to each other where there's like gold in those voice notes. There's gold in them. And we were like, why don't we just talk about this to everyone? I'm sure many people need to hear what we talk about. We were talking about we spent a lot of time talking about our unconscious behaviors and making them conscious, and we talk a lot about beauty in our homes, creating sanctuaries in our homes, especially because you're an artist, Julie. We're going to delve into some things today. We don't know where we're going, isn't that right? We
don't know where we're going now. I'm going to shake it off.
We're just going to shake it off. Yeah,
lovely introduction.
Thanks. And I want to make this as non-podcasty as possible because it's just like the pressure of having to make this like a podcast interview, or it's just like, whoa, gross, no. And I said to you this morning, because I washed my hair, miracles, which I do every few days / every week, once a week. And I did it this morning, and I was taking up the hairdryer to dry just a bit of it, and just like, can't look wet. So of course it can look wet. Who cares? Like, where are these unwritten rules we have for ourselves and expectations that we put in place?
So true.
We're all about that. The two of us talk about that a lot, don't we? Like these.
You're really good at doing face to camera on Instagram. I always look at you thinking, wow, that's the Anna I talk to every other day. It's the same person. Like, there's nothing contrived and nothing different. And I think that's really hard to achieve. I find that I struggle with that, without trying to come across as a certain way or use certain words, and actually just be yourself entirely when you're kind of speaking to the world, or you don't know who's watching really at the end of the day, I suppose. What does that matter?
What does it matter? And that's the thing, like it's the whole, when our mind gets involved, and we have these, as entrepreneurs and creatives and people who want to express ourselves in the world, women who want to express ourselves in the world, there's so much to overcome and so much to deal with, and so many mental constructs, so many ideas we have, so many things in society that expectations of us, and really it takes a lot of reminding. And that's why it's great to have somebody who you could be accountable with through all this, and who you can chat to, because I'm going through similar struggles as well, because putting yourself out there in the world, especially online and social media and stuff, it is so scary. Like, it is so scary. And as you say, like, to have that match, like, for me, that's really important. For me, there's no point in me trying to be somebody else. It's too effort for me. I cannot deal with the effort of trying to be somebody other than I am in both my real life and online. It's just like, I can't. This whole thing of being professional or being, I don't know, it's just, I refuse to buy into it. And I guess it's a lot of practice as well. Like, I was terrified at the very beginning, sharing my voice and, being face to camera and all that sort of stuff. But I think the more and more we reveal, and we were talking about that this morning, we were having a chat there before we started recording about, like, the more and more we become more loving to ourselves and see our worth and see our value. And that's not through force or through pushing. It comes from a very organic place of gently holding, seeing what these unconscious behaviors are, the patterns, and holding them up, and the beauty in being able to speak out our shame. Like that's a
Yeah.
huge one for me, and I
And
found
pushing
in you.
through, like there's an element of pushing through with it all as well, isn't there? Like you
There
just kind of
is,
have to take that bold step. I was reading the book that we're both reading at the moment, Florence Given, and she was talking
yes,
about being potent and potent being part of the word potential. I was like, oh, I love that. That's
oh
really,
yeah,
it is. And every time you dilute yourself down and try and say things in a certain way and come across a certain way to people, diluting yourself over and over and over until there's like no flavor left. Until
yeah,
you're just nearly a generic person trying to fit in with the crowd, which we all have to do, and that's the social construct that we live in to a point. But it's really such a good reminder to try not to dilute ourselves so much, in
yeah,
particularly in social situations where you feel like you should be a certain way. And when I say that, I'm thinking about like at the school gates, how the other parents perceive me to be, and do I have paint on my hands today? And that
I
type of
love
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
totally.
so good.
And we've been speaking about that actually a lot. The because we're both in rented spaces at the moment, in our specific countries, and we were talking about. I was talking about beauty and like making my space a sanctuary and making it beautiful. And I have much more of an urge to do that than my husband, who's like always just it's functional. And I like we were talking about women have that extra. Not all women, but it tends to be the women who feel the need for this space to be beautiful and a sanctuary, and especially as sensitive women, I think having a home we can come to that we have created in some way that is holding us and creating a softness and a caring space for ourselves. And we were just talking about this, that it doesn't require much. It requires, a little bit of tweakings. But I have just purchased some of Julie's art recently, and it's on its way to me. It's winging its way. So I'll show you all on Instagram when it arrives. Um, and that's so exciting because we have just had the art up in this place has been the art that was here and was an Airbnb originally. So it feels really exciting to be, especially when it's from somebody who I know so well and who is created with such. I mean, I just love your art. It's so, and the color. We were talking about color as well recently. Um, we'll go back to color actually because I wanted to ask you a bit
Yeah.
about. You were doing blogs recently about, which we didn't actually talk about properly, but you were mentioning it to me, and I didn't actually realize you had written the blogs, because you said it in passing, and I was like, hold on, about women in art and how you have an art book, don't you? The
I,
history of art book. Tell me about
yes,
that.
History of Art book. The Story of Art, it's called, and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's like a classic, I suppose, art history book. You'd use it. I used it in school, and then I went on and when I studied interior architecture. It was the same book again. It was basically, the main artists that we'd all be quite familiar with, plus a few others. But there was, I'm going to have to check again. There was next to no female artists in it, and I've just started to uncover lately, just some really groundbreaking women that were doing the rounds, I suppose, and they were just sidelined. It wasn't the thing to be a woman artist back, even up till recent days, really, I suppose. And particularly in the area that I'm in, which is abstract, there's some amazing abstract female artists that I've just come across, and it's eye opening to me because all of the education that I've had up to that point was men or male dominated. And if there were women, they were married to male artists and they still were sidelined that way. So it's very, very interesting to just uncover that. And yeah, it's a whole other world of education. And it's something that I think I read it somewhere recently that history is not fixed. And it's something that I've always had in my mind that, history is history. You can't argue with history, but actually it's what lens is it told through, who's
Yes.
who's speaking it, who's recorded it. It's really interesting to be able to dig through. There's so much information available online now. Whether it's all accurate or not is another story, but
Yeah.
there's so much of it there that we don't need to go to the library anymore. We don't need to go and buy loads of art history books. It's there for the
Yeah.
taking. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a deep dive into, I don't know how long it'll take, all the women, some of the women who've been, sidelined and just
Yeah.
not included in the conversation and completely left out of the history books from an art perspective. And it's fascinating. I find it so fascinating and enraging at the same time. So
Yeah.
that keeps me going to
Yeah.
get,
There's the fire.
yes.
Nothing like a bit of rage to get
Yeah.
get into action, right? It's like, oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. That is so fascinating. And these, I think that's what is required of us as women as well. We play such an important role as women who are stepping into leadership in a different way than we've seen leadership, because that is leadership, being willing to go into the history books and find and look for these women who weren't spoken about and who were sidelined and who are not written into our history books. Like it's so exciting that this is a time where we get to ask the questions. We don't get to just accept what we are given, that this is the
Yeah.
history, this is art history, this is whatever, any type of history, and we get to bring in her story, the
Yeah. Her
really
story. Yeah.
fill that in where the massive gaps are, and it's so lovely to because that world of art isn't something that I have been in, but through you've been telling me this, and it's so fascinating. Like I've been over the years, fascinated by Mary Magdalene and the Gospels, the missing Gospels as well, and so many missing pieces of women's writings and thoughts and teachings. And it's fascinating to know that we can play a big part in making sure that those are brought to the forefront, and by speaking about them and by delving a bit deeper into what's there. And as you said, we don't need to go to the libraries now to find it all. It is available, and you have to be a bit more discerning, I guess, as well. But there's so much to be unveiled that has not been found before. So I'm so excited to see what more you come up with, and what more you have, what more amazing women you can, bring to the forefront, and say their names and honor them and what they did,
Yeah.
and created.
And interestingly, I love all things data as well. And I've been looking through my analytics the last few days, and actually those very specific blog posts about the kind of missing female artists are getting so much traffic, because
Oh,
obviously
really?
it's just, yeah, it's a topic that obviously lots of people are kind of interested in now. And maybe the information is not collated particularly well in one spot. So it's kind of bits and pieces all over the place. There isn't one place you can go
Yeah.
for everything. And I'm not suggesting I have it, but it's just really interesting that actually is, that there's real
Yeah.
interest. Like there's searching going on for that kind of information at the moment. So
And do you feel called
it's
now? Would you feel
really
more
interesting.
to do more of it? Like, do you feel called to delve deeper and to
Yeah.
find more? Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so good.
I feel like it's an absolute necessity now. I can't just stop. Like there's, I'm alive and none of these women are anymore. So it's
Yes.
necessity
Yes.
to try and name them all and to have a few examples of their work where it's possible to actually add it. There's copyright issues sometimes with even just putting up an image on a blog. So trying to kind of think about all of that, but at the same time, yeah, have their name there again, another name that's on an internet search that's just going to, pile up until there's actually like a wealth of information about all of the women who are not there.
Wow.
Really interesting, yeah.
That's amazing. Do you feel that is that like a part of your mission? Do you feel that that's like something you can't
It's
not
funny.
do?
I can't not do it, and now I'm actually just had
Yeah.
the thought, oh, I must get a list of museums around the world where their art is housed, so I can actually take a trip and see it in person.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
because I've seen so many other famous paintings all around the various museums around the world,
Yeah.
but not coming from that perspective of the female
The
artists. Yeah,
women.
so yeah, and
Like
they're
that is
definitely being
amazing.
represented. Yeah, they're definitely being represented in the major museums around the world as well. So
Wow. I love
bucket list
that.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I thought of you today because I put on this pink jumper. So bright. It's my brightest
such a
piece of
good
clothing.
color.
And I only bought it recently, secondhand, by this lovely woman, Melanie, who I buy pre-loved clothes from here in Portugal. And but I paused before buying because I was like, that's really bright. But I could not buy it. It was so amazing. But then after that, I think you didn't even know I had this jumper. We were talking about color, and you were talking about how, in the today's world, the color has been largely sucked out of the world around us
Yeah.
and into the more beiges, greys, the, the au fait at the moment is like the greys and the undertones and the very, it's seen as sophisticated and, but actually you sent me something, I don't know, was it a reel you sent me where there was a
Yeah,
picture of like a car park and all the amazing, colorful cars and all
back
the
in the
primary color
70s or
cars.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
something. Yeah,
Compared to today when there's, you'll see the odd red car maybe, but they're usually blacks and greys and whites and silvers and whatnot.
and I have read since then. Actually, I know that you can come from a number of perspectives with all of these things, and they're saying that
Mm,
it's maybe it's a nervous system thing that the
Mm,
beige and the neutrals are, you're calming. You come home after one of those hectic, super busy days, where you feel like you should be rushing around for the day, and that actually that takes you down.
yeah,
So there's definitely an
that
element
is
of truth
true.
in that, because I
Yeah,
walk spaces, and if it's lovely and cream and neutral, I'm like,
that's so
there's a
true.
sigh of relief actually there as well. So it could
Yeah,
be just a kind of symptom of the lives that some of us are living. It's a number of
yes,
things together, isn't it? I think. But
yeah.
actually,
You think,
in my art, interestingly, I was told, or I was advised, a couple of years ago to stick neutral.
oh,
Somebody said to
really?
me, "Yeah, like, and go with the neutral colors, and they suit more interiors." So I suppose it's not really coming from an artist's perspective. Then it's more of a
Yeah,
fit into somebody's interior design scheme, which I can't ever do. It's just
no,
not.
fit
If I start
in.
thinking like
No.
that, it's a disaster. It doesn't work at all, and I have a stack of, let me see, good 8 canvases in the corner. They're not coming from that perspective necessarily, but they were started from the perspective of, will someone like this? And that's just,
Yes.
can't paint from that perspective. Can't create.
No.
Nobody can create from that perspective. I think
No.
genuinely to reach anybody. Yeah, it has to come from a very different place.
Yeah.
So it's good to hole up in the studio and not think of anybody or
And
anything else,
yes.
and just create from that point of view. Yeah, but it's very interesting, the whole beige, neutral, grey, and the Pantone color of the year for 26. I think is it's a grey, like a
Is
shade.
it?
It's a grey. It's a shade of white,
Is
white-ish
it?
grey. I mean, it's not even not a color. In
Oh
fact,
my gosh.
not a,
I mean
not a
that
color.
I totally get that perspective of the relaxation. That go into a nice room or a spa or a hotel or somewhere that has been curated for calmness, and it's lovely pastel colors, whatever. But and you compare it to like some of the houses or rooms in the 70s where there was like patterns and patterns and patterns. It was like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like maybe like that's is it the nervous system thing you're talking about, like that back in the 70s where the nervous system's a bit, were they more regulated, maybe not, but there's just like what was what was
If they
what
were
was
high,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like now
everything is crazy.
when I'm thinking about it being in any sort of an environment like that where there's like so many patterns, there's too much going on,
Yeah,
it's a lot. But I
there's a
love
fine
pops
line,
of
isn't there?
color. What
Yeah,
did I get?
there's a fine line between the two, isn't there? It's
Yes,
not
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
have to be mismatched patterns and stripes and dots, and it can just
Mm,
be, yeah, a layer of coloring through your home
yeah,
that actually uplifts. And
yes,
obviously, you can go into the color, the kind of how different colors affect your mood and that type of thing as well. So you can color code your rooms depending on what, bathroom and bedroom are going to be different to the living room, and
yeah,
those types of taking that into account as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there's something that I'm definitely drawn to. Like I was in the airport there recently, and I did. It's obviously winter, so people are like wearing winter jackets, but most of the winter jackets are black. Mine is black as well. But I think I was wearing this jumper actually, and I saw another lady who had this color but bright pink coat, and
coat.
I was just so drawn to her, probably because it was something I was looking out for. But like she really stood out amongst the sea of greys and blacks and muted colors,
Yeah,
and yeah, I don't know, just there's something in me that wants to bring the color to, and wants to bring like, color through your paintings and through, and I have actually a lovely poinsettia over here as well. Like this, the pops of color really, really excite me a lot and get me, I don't know, they do something. They bring me joy. It brings joy. So it's not bringing that, if I want calm and connection and ease, that's something else. And I think our spaces can have that too. Um,
yeah. The pops
yeah.
of color. It's not a huge commitment. It's not like a bright red sofa. It's
Yeah.
and things that you can move around the house. Like, you can move the painting to a different room. And actually, something we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, and something I'm going to do myself now as well, is kind of change little things up as the seasons go by. So, like, the cushions different on the sofa in spring and summer as they are to winter, and like little
Gorgeous.
things like that are
Yeah.
really not expensive at all, and really change the whole kind of look of the room when you walk into it. And
Yeah.
just going back to what we started with, actually, with the beauty of everything in your home. I think actually the husbands and the men completely appreciate it, but just are not
Yes.
necessarily, they look at it and they notice it. If it wasn't there, I'm sure they notice it too. They're just not necessarily
Yes.
um, motivated to change it or to do
To
to do
change.
those types of things. But they affect everybody. It affects everybody in the house for sure.
Mm,
Like, even the difference of a Christmas tree in the house now, with all
yeah.
the color and the lights, and you're drawn to look at it. You just can't help but look at it. Now,
Yeah.
probably at this time that would not be the case. You want to fire
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
yeah. Or
But
like,
yeah, definitely just changing up little things in the house, I think, can make a big difference as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So gorgeous. Yeah, so good. And also the other thing you were talking about, we were talking about joy, joy in our days, and because we're both reading Florence Given's book, which I love, Women Living Deliciously. If anyone hasn't
Thank
read
you,
it,
Florence.
it is delicious. It's so gorgeous. And it's um like the when you speak about you were talking there about painting those pieces of art that were just not so the more muted ones that weren't coming from your soul. And when recently you started then doing these other ones that you hadn't done in ages, remember you found one? What was
Yes. Yeah.
it? The like a colorful one, was it? I
Yeah,
think.
really cool. I was. It's what's it called? Wilderness. It's kind of green, and that's just one of them, kind of a jungly style one. And it was in the back. It was like shoved at the back. And then once I put it up online, a lot of people reacted to it and really liked it. And I was kind of shocked and amazed, to be frank. I was like, oh, but that's just a colorful one. That's not. So it
Yeah.
actually opened the door to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this then. So I kind of went to town then over the next 6 months with color and just really feel like I was getting it out of my system a little bit. And then maybe I'll pull it back in a little bit more, but just to actually feel free enough to use color
Yeah.
and for people to like it as well. And actually, it's what they're looking for, I think, in ways as well. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. Fascinating. And the importance of like really tuning into ourselves and going with that like giddy little inner child who gets excited when you see something. That's the spark to follow, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah,
otherwise the trying to survey the room and see what is wanted from us, and this goes in every aspect of us as women, and how we show
yeah,
up. um it's really really important, and that the two of us have been working on um being more ourselves, loving ourselves more, loving the parts of ourselves that we are, conditioned to not love and to berate and to be hard on ourselves for, and doing like both do a lot of taking care of our inner children, our inner child, and being with her and caring for her. And it's such a it's so new because we didn't see our parents taking care of themselves in the way that we are learning to now. And I think having people around us that are in the same boat, that are going through this healing process, that are going through this unlayering, deconditioning, peeling back of the masks and the facades and all the things we thought we should be and needed to be in the world to be loved, to be accepted. Um, and then when we have someone in our field, what do I want to say, in our team, whatever, in our field, who is able to give us that backing and to hold us with the unconditional love and that's what I love as well, the speaking out of the shame. Like I've always had this want to, since I started running women's circles, I've been wanting to run shame circles, and like I'm not sure if that's going to be like oh yeah, I'd love to sign up for your shame circle, please. um but I love that we can speak about those shameful parts of ourselves, those parts that we feel ashamed about, and speaking them out. Isn't that the key? It's like when they're spoken out and they're brought into the light,
yeah,
and they can be the like inverted commas silliest little things in the world that seem silly to the other person, but for us they are such a point of, they're cages, like they're real cages that keep us stuck. And so that's been quite amazing, being able to go back and forth in between both of us in our worlds of work and our entrepreneurship, but also our children, because you have a almost 11-year-old, as do I, and then I have an 8-year-old as well. So we're on it in the same boat in regards of our stages of parenting, and we're quite aligned as well in our way of, we've always been into the conscious parenting books and the going through the stages of gentle parenting, and then going back into, okay, it's lovely having somebody to bounce all those ideas of and shame in all those different areas. And it's like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think it's really interesting to talk about. Also, something we talk about a lot: trying to kind of not conserve your energy, but free it up. So, trying to be. Oh, I lost my train of thought. What you were saying there about what were you saying?
That's what happened to me a minute ago. That's so funny. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to lose this. This is
Yeah.
real live. I was talking about,
Somebody told me to
hang
hold
on,
up to my
this is where it gets funny.
I gripped them. I was like, no, no,
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
leave me, don't leave me. So
Don't
I was
leave.
holding on too tightly. But it was conserving energy around. What were you talking about though
I was talking
initially
about
there?
shame and I was talking about
Shame,
parenting. Yeah.
and parenting. I think it was the yeah, it's the element of shame. Actually, we're talking about inner child. You're
Yeah.
definitely much more keyed into that. That's something quite like I've known about it and I hear about it, but it's something quite new to me to actually address myself in that sense. But oh yeah, we were talking about giving things to ourselves that we are looking for others from others.
Yes.
So this kind of constant looking for the external validation or external acknowledgement of various things, and yeah, something as small as writing yourself a card with the things that you wish you want to hear, but saying them to yourself. So not
Yes.
waiting for somebody else and kind of feeling resentful that you don't get that from that person. Actually, just giving it yourself in all areas of the love that you want to receive. To actually give it to yourself first,
Yeah.
and then take. And I think it just frees up so much energy, and you know I think energy lost. Energy is something I'm thinking about a lot lately. Like energy lost in resentment, and we'll go. You can go into the whole parenting line with that. But just the amount of energy lost, I think, looking for things externally that just aren't available, or maybe they'll be available, but waiting around and hoping is just not where I'm at anymore. I think it's just it's like the thing in the airplane, like put on your own oxygen mask first, like deal with yourself and give yourself what you need, and then you'll have so much more energy for everything else in your life, and your energy won't be misdirected, I think, towards kind of wasted areas of your life. I know I'm kind of rambling a bit there, but it's I feel like we're always drawn to put our attention in places that it shouldn't be, in places that are not beneficial to us. And I often wonder, where would I be in my business or in my life if my energy was directed where it should go?
Yeah.
And trying to actually get control of my conscious mind and my conscious thoughts and stop them rambling, stop them cycling, and stop them just wasting my time and my day and my energy is, I think it's going to be kind of a lifelong, I don't want to say battle, but a lifelong habit to learn to actually just garner control over my thoughts and really be very conscious about the energy that I do have. Because obviously, yeah, we're both parents and we're both working and we're like, most of the world trying to keep something in reserve for growth as well. So you're not just kind of ambling through the day, getting to the end of the day, and then suddenly you're awake again and you have to do it all again. So yeah, energy is a big thing, I think, for me at the moment. That was
Same.
long.
I mean, there's
Long.
so no, it's I love it. There's so much. I can go 100 directions there. It's like, yeah, that the
Yeah.
our energy, our conservation of our energy, our um respecting our energy, honoring our energy, and where we have those energy leakages and where we don't realize we're not even aware of those energy leakages, and they're just, you know, it's when we can learn to plug those leaks and to really be. I'm distracted because you're you're frozen on my screen. Okay,
What
you're back. You froze there for a minute,
was it?
so I could not
Strange
focus.
face.
Um, so the energy leaks, yeah, and the really realizing how much we leak our energy based on our own stories and our own creation of stories and beliefs around what other people think about us or what we should be doing or what we think, or like totally analyzing what we have said to someone in a conversation or what we'll probably do after having this podcast, and if
For
I was
sure.
going to say if we release it, because we will,
I may not be able to watch it back.
because then maybe we were like, we'll see what parts we can release. But I think we just put it out there, and it's like so once you put things out there like this in their um like raw form,
Yeah.
it's there's our systems aren't completely used to that, so we will always have this. We won't always, but at the moment I have this the aftermath of the what's it, like the post analytical stage of looking through everything and analyzing how it was done, what was said. It's like that is so exhausting. It's like, how about we just let it out, whatever way we are showing up in the world, and make sure you have a stable internet connection. Okay, so we're back because we cut off there with our. I think my internet was a bit wobbly, and we were talking about energy and energy leakages, and yes, our capacity and our how much of it is what's the word, like expelled, spent on other people and other things, rather than just focusing on ourselves and our lives and helping people around us, rather than monitoring ourselves. And I was also, what came to my mind there as well was the reprogramming of our minds, and the like using that energy where we would have spent it analyzing and over analyzing what we've said, what we've done, how we've shown up. Instead, spend it on reprogramming and reconditioning ourselves into, not out of under duress or out of force, but out of a way that we really get to live these one gorgeous human lives. And why not do it where we absolutely love ourselves, and we can really give our gifts to the world as well. The more we love ourselves, and declutter and let go of all the things that we don't need, all the thoughts we don't need, all the behaviors, the patterns, the learned things. And in the podcast last week, I spoke about making the unconscious conscious, and all those, when we create space in our energy to actually look at and to be able to perceive those parts of ourselves that are unconscious and that we are blind to, and give ourselves a bit of time, space, silence, openness, empty space in our days, even if it's a few minutes here and there, where we can question things and we can say, oh yeah, I wonder why that person triggered me so much, or why I got so activated when that person said that or did that, or why are they so irritating, even though they're not saying anything to me at all. Like, when we can be curious about those things and really get in touch with those parts of ourselves, that helps to free up energy as well. And it really is like the liberation is in, well, for me, it's in coming back to myself more and more, decluttering, letting go of like physical stuff, but also stuff in my energy field, things I might have taken on as a sensitive person. Like, a lot of the time I feel like I need to cleanse and clear after being around a lot of people, or having had a busy day, being in spaces where, like shopping centers or airports, where there are a lot of energies and a lot of people. I have to consciously come out, shake it off, have a shower, or just allow the energy consciously to come away from me and to reclaim what's mine. Um, and then we'll have more space and more openness for doing this deep work of retraining ourselves. And we're both very into, because when I was both of us actually at very young ages, like 14, 15, 16, were given books. You were given a book as well, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And all about, that those behaviors and subconscious. For me, it was subconscious, and mindset. And then as I said, I came away from that a bit and went more into the somatics and the body and energy and trauma healing. And now it's come back around again, that is interweaving with all these things to make, um, the deprogramming, and the mind is such an important part that I neglected for quite a while, because as I went into really listening to the body. But with our conversations, there's so much that comes up, and that we can really get down to the nitty gritty when we can share
yeah,
back and forth these things. And you
yeah,
were speaking about, just earlier on, we were talking about speaking things out loud, and not only journaling and reprogramming through journaling and coming up with things, but also the speaking out loud and how effective that is. And you were
I mean,
talking about,
speaking out loud to each other the way that we do so
oh
regularly.
yes,
To go back to the shame topic,
yeah,
and just admitting some of the things that we've thought or felt that we would barely acknowledge. They might be there as like a little bit of a guilt, shame feeling, and generally they're once you speak them out, they're gone. They kind of
yeah,
disappear, and they're nothing. But actually, yeah, something I did the other day was speak out loud to myself, which is not something I I do at all, and really just telling myself my plans, what my wishes are, for the future, and really just journaling. I think is great, and it's an amazing tool as well. But there's something about hearing yourself speak. It's a bit like talking to a friend, but you're again not looking for that validation, or you're not looking for anything to come back. It's just you and you listening to yourself speak out, and it felt to me like it was a little bit like the next step on from journaling. Um, and we were discussing just how crazy that looks. Obviously, we're not doing this out in walking down the street, but that it was so and is so taboo. You don't speak to yourself. You don't admit that you speak to yourself, because that's what people who have mental difficulties do. And yeah, it's really interesting just to dig into that as well, and where along the line did it become so taboo to actually speak to yourself kindly or speak to yourself at all.
yeah. And that's for me, all those places where it's deemed crazy, or things are deemed weird or abnormal. I'm like, that's where the gold is. That's where we go. We speak out loud, because speaking out loud in public, I won't do it in public yet because I'm not there yet, but at least to myself, and in my house and in my car, and bit by bit, because they are the spaces where our power is. The places where we have been told it's weird or stupid or shameful,
Yeah.
that is the very place to go towards and be like, oh, that's where I'm going to
Step in
reclaim.
there.
Yeah, yeah, that is where I'm headed. And I think that like the all these words as well, the English words of like hysteria, and that
Mm.
was often put on women, and to do with the uterus, hysterectomy,
Yeah.
all these, and lunatic, to do with the moon cycles, that all these, there's so many interwoven, interconnected things to do with
Yeah.
with women, and so many women put into mental institutions for going crazy. And
Yeah.
actually, I was like, oh, hold on,
Yeah.
is that the full story, or were they actually just coming into their full power? Probably around menopause, when everything starts to shed, you do not
Mm.
give a crap, and it's all the real, that those hormones that are needed for nurturing, for caring, for really taking care of the if we have children, the children and people around us. And then that becomes not obsolete, but needed less as we get into our late 40s, 50s, 60s. And then that, like, so that's, what happened to these women who portrayed this sense of rage and power and expression.
Mm.
Um, and it's like, oh no, you're not allowed to do that. So that's all the places where things are deemed to be weird, and that people would
It's
say, oh God,
dangerous.
look,
I mean, it was like they
well, it
weren't
was
safe.
dangerous.
They're
No.
physically dangerous.
Yeah.
To be seen to speak to yourself, to be seen to be even rageful or angry as a woman in
Yes.
public.
Yes.
You rarely see it. Definitely
Mm-mm.
see it from men, very often, but women, you just don't see that. And it's not to
No.
say they're not rageful or angry, because we know
Oh
that
no.
it's not the
Oh
case.
no. Not the case, as we know. Yeah, it's so powerful. Like
Yeah.
and having those practices like swamping, where we take the time to like
Yeah.
rage and to get into that and feel that power and feel that passion and feel that fire.
You'll have to
It's
explain the
like
swamping.
the swamping. I think, did I talk about it before? Where it's a Mama Gina, Regina Thomas. She talks about moving through the emotions that we feel inside and really letting them out through. She does it through music. So she usually does it like she does an anger, a couple of songs on anger, or a song or two, then a song or two on grief, and then a song or two on connection and sensuality, getting back in touch with the body again and into the body. It's so powerful. It's such a powerful practice. And again, it's one of those ones when you start doing it, it's like it's a bit awkward and a bit clunky and a bit like, oh gosh, this is so. What am I doing? Am I crazy? Am I going
Weird
insane?
again, isn't it?
Weird again. I'm like, okay, so I'm onto the right track if I feel this weird and this shameful about
Yeah.
this. Um, but it's amazing work. It's an amazing practice, and it's something I do regularly to. I don't do it as a completely daily maintenance. I do dance actually most days, or move in some way, but not doing a full swamp. And a swamp for me can usually be about 30 minutes is like my key. When once a month usually, so it's probably around a certain time my cycle coming up to my bleed. That's probably when the it starts to garner a lot of energy, and I need to release. So yeah, that's a practice that I love to do. But that rage is it's so important to be with and to release, and to in a really safe space, and to be able to speak about it with other people as well, other women who can feel the rage. Yeah, going back to the beginning where you're talking
Yeah.
about the artists who have been forgotten, the women, like all that brings up in us. There's so much every day
Yeah.
that we are either conscious or not conscious to, that brings up these feelings to us, in us. And yeah, it's fascinating. It's really,
Yeah.
really wild.
And even for children, my daughter's she has done swamp. She did swamping a couple of times, and she loved it.
Did
I
she?
think again, she's a little girl, so she's also under the influence of don't be too angry in public. She's also under these constraints as well, and she loved the freedom. It's kind of quite primeval, isn't it? It's just this really nice release of excess energy or anger or whatever it is coming up. But it's a really I must do it again. Actually, it's been a long time. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. There, yeah, I haven't done it for ages. Yeah.
Yeah. You're reminding me to do it with the kids as well. Because I tell them to stamp and stuff, but not actually do. I think even bringing the language around it, like of calling it a swamp or whatever you want to call it, like a energy release, emotional release, that there's
Yeah.
a space where we get to do it and be in a safe space where we like whack the pillows against the wall or whack the tea towel against the wall. Do that, that they are allowed to do those things in that space, and to know when it's appropriate and when it's not, and when,
Yeah.
um, you know, Oh, it's just so good. There's so much there that we can teach these little children that are, it'll help them in big ways. And yeah, it's fascinating. Wonderful. I think we will, with so much more we could talk about, but let's leave it there for
We
the
could be here
moment.
all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Not
for
sure. Thank
coming
you.
on and for the chats and yeah, for all your support and openness and willingness to talk about shame and anger and all the facets of life and being a woman in this world and being an entrepreneur and yeah. So people can find you at, you have Instagram at, what's your Instagram handle? Remind me.
Good
At Julie
question.
Bevan? At Julie
Um,
Bevan?
Julie.bevan.art, I think.
Okay, well you can
Julie
find,
Bevan
yeah,
Art. Yeah.
yeah, Julie Bevan Art basically, and check out Julie's paintings. I will share when I have my lovely uh, paintings here in the house.
I
Can't
can't wait
wait.
for it to arrive.
And you can check out I'm Wild Simplicity on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and my website is annaday.e for any of you who want to check out decluttering, find a way to let go of the for me the catalyst for decluttering all this inner world stuff to a much deeper level has been through releasing a lot of the physical stuff in my life, the things I was accumulating and holding on to out of fear and um, not wanting to let go. So if you would like to look at any of those things, the options are on my website, some offerings, and I currently have a declutter a drawer offering, which is a one-to-one session, which Judy, I think you did in a group with me,
I,
didn't you before?
I've done it a few times. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that this morning. I got so much cleared out. It was unbelievable. So it was amazing. And it's still
Good.
intact. Yeah. I did my
Oh,
daughter's wardrobe.
really?
It was amazing. Yeah. It's still the same. So it's excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Oh,
good.
that's
So
so good. And I could feel it today actually because the kids are home from, amazingly, they haven't come down to me during this
oh, yeah.
recording. It's quite a miracle. Um, but there's stuff everywhere because they're at home. They're doing like little projects here, Lego project here, an art project here, and I'm like, okay. So allowing for that to be there, but also then seeing where things need to be a little bit of a reset and a declutter. And for my own stuff as well, I have lots of stuff in a cupboard inside that is from my speech and language therapy days, and I think I'm ready to release some more of that. Do, do, do. Anyway, so decluttering coming to a place near you. Yeah, thank you so much, Julie. Lovely to chat to you,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I'll talk to you soon. Bye,
Again.
everyone. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this journey to wild simplicity. If today's episode inspired you to let go, simplify, and reconnect with your truest self, I would love for you to share it and help spread the word. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and follow along on Instagram at Wild Simplicity for more inspiration. Remember, life is precious and you have the power to live it fully, freely, and fiercely. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep seeking, and keep embracing the wild possibilities of life.